Grace, I want to laugh more. I laugh a lot, and I want to laugh more. It's part of my pursuit of being better today than yesterday. Why do I want to laugh more? Stay tuned to this episode.
Hi guys, I'm Grace Lupoi, and I'm here with David Lowe, the automotive sales coach. And you said that you want to...
You can't stop laughing, can you?
No,
because we're
I
talking
can't
about
stop
laughter.
laughing. I can't stop
so
laughing.
we always said to salespeople, if you're laughing, you're doing it right. Right? And if your customer's laughing, they're buying. So this is true, right? So
That's
it's okay
very
that
true.
you're laughing through this. All
Very
right.
true.
Okay. So we're talking about laughter, right?
Right.
The power of laughter in our life. So really what we're talking about is better today than yesterday. Mm-hmm. So I was telling my team that I've adopted this thing where I have these things I want to be better in my life. There's things I want to do better. And by the way, it's funny, I've been working on the same things for many years. There's things I value, who I am, how I behave, how I think, how I act, that I value really, I like patience. I value it, and I struggle with it. Yeah. So I'm constantly battling my nature. I want to be better. I'm not going to give into it. I'm going to become better by seeking to become better, right? And so and I got this list, and how do you work on yourself with it's so overwhelming when you look at that list. So why not do what Ben Franklin did and Mandino did in Greatest Salesman in the World, right? Why not focus on one area of your life that you want to improve? Really focus on it for a period of time and then move to the next.
Right.
Does that make sense?
It does.
So whenever we do training, I tell stories. I've got heroes, not perfect people. King David, who I'm named after, not a perfect person, but boy, I could learn a lot from him. Solomon, which we talk a lot about in training, his books of wisdom, not a perfect person, but wow. And we have Ben Franklin. I talk about him a lot. Abe Lincoln. There's people, John Wooden. There's people that we talk about, Vince Lombardi. There's people that have really impacted me in my life. And Ben Franklin really probably was one of the biggest impacts because of he was so smart, right? He had all these patents, developed all this technology, if you will, in the day, was so rich, so powerful. I mean, there's so many things he did for this country. If you don't know who Ben Franklin is, start reading up. Truly inspiring to read. But anyway, I started using a Franklin planner years and years ago, before computers, right? We had a day planner we carried around, right? And before the cell phone, before the smartphone. And so I did some studying, and that's how I got really deep into Ben Franklin. Okay. And the thing that inspired me about Ben Franklin is smart and rich as he was, he woke up every day and said, what will I learn today and what good can I do today, right?
That's awesome.
He was a student. And I thought, if the smartest man around should be doing that, I should quit telling people what I know and start finding out what I don't. Now, by the way, Think and Grow Rich, we've talked about before. That's what it said. The best of the best know what they know. They're always trying to figure out what they don't know. And I think in our society today, people are kind of protecting themselves with this ego. You can't tell me anything. I already know everything. Anytime, any point of teaching, training, or correction is seen as a personal insult. It's such garbage. Yeah. When did you become perfect, right?
Right.
So our ability, I think we said in one of the episodes, we were talking about my journey. I think it was my humility. When I say humility, I mean I knew I sucked and I wanted to be better. That's what I think humility is. I know I could be better than I am. Yeah. And I think that humility is a key facet in success, and it's missing in America. Mm-hmm. Anyway, so Ben Franklin, I studied him. What will I learn today? What will I do today? Well, he also had this other thing. He had 13 virtues he wanted in his life. Silence, temperance, humility. These are things that he wanted. So what he did was he listed them on the side of a paper, and then he put the days of the week across the top. And for 1 week, let's say he worked on silence. For 1 week, he focused on developing that in his life, right? Yeah. Try to listen more, speak less, praise. When I feel like praising, say it. When I feel like criticizing, hold my tongue. Yeah. Right. Silence, the power of silence. For sure. And so he'd work on it a week, And then he'd move on to the next one, temperance, right? He didn't want to eat to dullness or drink to elevation, right? So he wanted to manage. And by the way, he struggled with that his whole life. You could read about that. But so these aren't things that he possessed necessarily, things that he possessed a certain percentage of that he wanted more of in his life.
Right.
So he listed these virtues or values, and he said, I want these in my life, and to get them in my life, I have to be intentional.
Right.
I got to have a plan. Nothing good ever just happens. It just doesn't. You got to make it happen. You don't just learn to play the piano. You don't learn a second language just by wanting to. You got to have a plan. You got to take action, right? So he had this plan. And of course, from that, the Franklin Planner was born from these things that he did. And in fact, when the Franklin Planner started, there was a big discussion about what Ben Franklin did and how he did it, and how taking some time every day and self-reflection could be really powerful in your life. And so it's been powerful in my life for over 3 decades. Obviously, still totally imperfect and right. I still struggle, but I'm focused on being better today than yesterday. And that pursuit of my best self gives me a healthy pride.
Right.
It's not the obtainment of all these virtues. It's the pursuit that creates healthy. None of us are going to be perfect until. So let's talk about laughter. Okay, so that's one of my 13. Let's say I want to have laughter in my life, and so I'm gonna focus on it, and I'm gonna make May the month of laughter. Right, that's my month for laughter, and I'm gonna really say I want to laugh more. Now, before I begin this journey, the question is, why do I want to laugh more?
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Now, you know I'm a big Seinfeld freak. I love Seinfeld. In fact, I reference the episodes here all the time.
All the time.
I love laughing. The King of just so many comedies that I watch because I like what they do to me.
Right.
I like in the car. Sometimes I'm having you ever wake up and you're kind of just off? So on my drive, I'll put the comedians from the Dry Bar Comedy on, and I'll listen to that on my way to work. Laughter has a way of producing the chemicals in your brain that change you from negative to positive,
Yeah.
from fear to peace, right? From anxiety to joy. I mean, it just really does. Laughter is so powerful in our life. And so I love to laugh. And it's easy in your pursuit of personal excellence and for our company to do what we want to do, to impact the number of people we want to impact. We get so caught up in the grind, we forget to laugh. It's so easy. And I don't feel good when I don't do that, right? I can wake up and say, you could have everything and be miserable. Why do it, right? So laughter, does it matter? It really matters to me. Does it improve my personal life? Absolutely. Does it improve my professional life? Absolutely. So I should cultivate this habit of laughter, right? Okay, so I know what I want and I know why I want it. The question is, how do I get it now?
Right.
So I've already have some things in mind, but I'll tell you one thing that's really powerful. If you guys haven't read it yet, I don't get an endorsement from this. I don't get a fee every time you buy a book. I used to carry a trunk full of them to hand out, but when I started with Half a Car in the 90s, while we were waiting for the interview, there was no smartphones. I had a bag phone with roaming charges. There's no internet. They handed us this during a 2-day interview to read, and it's changed my life. I've carried it ever since. And in this book, The Greatest Salesman in the World, Mandino tells a fictional story. And at the end, this fictional story about this great salesman contains these 10 scrolls. These scrolls are the key to success, is what this book says. I will tell you, they are. They're undisputed. All of them are biblical. They're 3,000 years old.
Right.
Mandino put them in a really usable format, right? But so these scrolls go through, and I'm not going to take you through them. I'd encourage you to get the book and read it. You won't regret it. I don't know, it's $8 or something like that.
Maybe
and
not
won't
even
take
that
it.
much.
Huh?
Maybe not even that much.
Yeah,
now.
you get them used.
Right.
Like, yeah. It's like one of the #1 published books in print. Anyway, the scrolls at the end, I only read the story once, but the scrolls at the end, I read all the time. You know, scroll #1, I'll form good habits and become their slave. Scroll #2, I'll live this day as if it's my life. The powerful principles, right? Scroll #9, I'll act now. So you can see how the principles that drive success are contained. Anyway, I'm just going to skip to scroll number 7. Guess what it's marked? I will laugh at the world. Here's what Mandino says. No living creature can laugh except man, right? So this is a big thing. And he makes some great points in here. I was smiling, my digestion will improve. In this book, in these scrolls, he's doing these affirmations of, I will laugh at the world. And why do I want to do that?
Right.
Because man is most comical when he takes himself too seriously. I love that line in here,
That's
right?
a great
Anyway,
one.
so part of my routine is going to be to feed my laugh factory from Seinfeld. I'd like to watch a comedy before bed every night.
Yeah.
I like to watch comedies when I prepare. When I'm exercising, I like to listen to, I just like comedians and it's things that make me laugh and really make fun of us as people. I mean, who are we anyway? We're hurtling through space and we're making all these mistakes and yet we end up taking ourselves, it's almost comical how, and anyway. But I'm also going to get back to reading this. So I'm reading this now every single day. When I started with this, I read every scroll for 30 days, 3 times a day.
Right.
Hard to do? Not really hard to do. Hard to commit to?
Yeah.
I probably missed 2 days out of 10 months. I carry it with me everywhere. It's hilarious. Read it in the morning, read it at lunch. That really impacted my life. Really programming yourself with who you want to be. We're getting programmed anyway. Why not do that? So in May, I want to laugh more. I know why I want to laugh more. And now I've got to make a plan to do it. Now I got to track myself.
Right.
Ben Franklin tracked himself. So on my calendar every day, I got to write, did it, right? At the end of the day, my plan is self-reflection. How did I do today? Mm-hmm. What areas did I blow it? In other words, I should have laughed and made the mistake or the hill, I made it smaller.
Yeah.
Really brought it to the right size.
Right.
Maybe I should have laughed at an insult instead of responding, right? Somebody says an insult, you say, well, that's not true. You can say, right? And, you could turn, it's a lot better that way, right? Yeah. So I would self-examine at the end of the day and say, I did really well today in these areas. Here's the areas of opportunity. And if I do that, I believe every day for 30 days, I will strengthen something that's already a strength in my life, but I want more of it. Does that make sense?
It does.
So what do you want, Grace? Have you thought about, what are my 13 things? What do you want? And why do you want it? Mm-hmm. And what will you do to put it in your life? And how are you going to hold yourself accountable? Isn't that 4 steps right there?
It is.
What do you want? Why do you want it? In other words, what's the benefit if you do? What's the loss if you don't? Right?
Right.
3, what's the action plan? What are you going to do? And number 4, how are you going to hold yourself accountable? Mm-hmm. This is an easy format that you can use to improve your life today. It doesn't matter what area. Now, maybe it's physical fitness, right? Mm-hmm. Maybe I've got a lot of them. Silence is a good one, right? How about this one? Maybe asking questions instead of making statements. That's another one, right? You're from the Dale Carnegie School. Being more curious and ask good follow-up questions, right? Maybe there's things you want to focus on in your personal life. Maybe there's things in your professional life. We had a guy come in here and say, my wife and I decided to kiss for 6 seconds at a time. I'm not going to mention Mike Price's name, but he did it. And what a powerful thing. So they made a decision. What do we want in our life and why? Mm-hmm. Right?
Right.
And then what are we going to do to make sure it happens? And now they're looking at these results. What's my accountability? I like the checklist and I like the self-examination for accountability. I got to keep myself in track. And I think so many people go wrong, Grace, is because, like, if I'm not 100%, I failed. And that's garbage. Mm-hmm. You ride, you fall, you get back on your bike, and you ride again. Then you fall less. Yeah. You're still going to fall, but you fall less frequently, the better you get. So I think as we develop the sense of better today than yesterday, we say, what do I really want? And what should I work on right now? Now, you can do the Ben Franklin for a week, or you can do them for a month. Mm-hmm. I'm happily right now doing for a month. I've done many things at once. I've done them for a week, and I've done them for a month. And I found since I've been working on these areas in my life in different ways, I'm mindful of them, And now I just want to really deep dive. And so the laughter part is what's coming on. Make sense?
I love it.
Yeah. So we talk to salespeople every day. You're in dealerships. Do you think there's areas of their lives they want to improve?
I think so. I know so.
Yeah. So could this formula be used by anyone? What do you want? Why do you want it? In other words, what's the benefit of doing it? What's the pain of not doing it, right? They always say there's the pain of action or the pain of regret. It was one of the two. What are you going to do? And then what is the plan? You got to have a plan. And finally, of course, how are you going to keep yourself? What's the accountability in you? We all need accountability, a checklist, self-examination. What are you going to do it? All right. So today's episode was really focused on I want to laugh more was really kind of the table we used for it. But really what it's about is being better today than yesterday and coming up with a plan to do it. I wanted to demonstrate that we practice what we preach, right? These aren't theories. So many people want to tell you their theory. We're not interested in theories. I'm interested in replicatable science, things that I can observe and replicate, right? And this is something I've observed and can replicate as much as I want. It's a science. Developing yourself is a science, right? So, any last words about this, Grace?
I don't think so.
Okay, so let's encourage our team. If you're out there, make your list. Start with that. Make your list. What do I want to improve? And then guess what? Pick one thing and either focus on for the week or for the month, but make sure you do your 4-step plan. What do I want? Why do I want it? What am I going to do to get it? And how am I going to keep myself accountable? All right. Till next time, good selling.